We are starting on lesson 6. So go File, Open, go to your shared drive folder, go to My Folder, and open up. I don't have the shared drive on this computer, but you know how to get to the shared drive. If not, I can definitely show you how to. Or your teacher can show you how to. Go to Lessons, go to Lesson 6, open up the 06 Start, as well as the Cloud image. Go ahead and move the Cloud image out of the way for right now. With the 06 Start image active, choose the Crop tool on the toolbar. It's right here. You're going to draw a box around the image. My computer's acting up on me, so just bear with me. You can adjust your box by using the nose on the outside to make it bigger or smaller, or bring it in. If you bring your cursor to the upper right corner, you notice that you have a double-headed arrow that is bent. That means you are able to rotate your selection. You want to try to only select the part of the image that is not black. You do not want to select the black part of the image. Once you have the selection how you want it, hit Enter on your keyboard. If at any time during this lesson I'm going too fast, you may pause, do what you need to do, and then come back to this. Number 2 on page 164 in the Tool Options bar. Here's your Tool Options bar. Oh, never mind. We'll get to go. Number 3. Nope. I've skipped a lot for you. Go ahead and say File, Save As. Again, do not save over my file. Say File, Save As. Go to your folder on the S drive. Mine is in my documents. Yours should be in the S drive. Again, I would suggest that you save it in more than one place. Name your file as your first name, Lesson 6, and then say Save. Okay. Next, we're going to adjust the light levels of the picture. So if you go to Image, Adjust, Levels, move the level dialog box over, out of the view of your image. You notice you have 3 triangles. Move the left triangle in, and notice how it darkens the image. Put that triangle right before it starts going up high, and then the one to the right, the triangle to the right, if you bring that in, you notice that the image gets lighter. You're going to move that, same thing, to the point right before it goes up, it shoots all the way up. The middle one you can move to make it lighter and darker as well. So go ahead and leave that in the middle. Once you're done with that, go ahead and say OK. That was called your now you're going to say choose Image, Histogram. To view the new histogram, the tonal range now extends throughout the entire range of the histogram. Click OK. Go ahead and say File Save. We've already said Save As, so we're good. We're saving it onto your file, not my file. Now we're on page 168. You're going to be removing a color cast. Choose Layer, New Adjustment Layer, Color Balance, in a new layer dialog box, click OK to create the adjustment layer and to display the color dialog box. Number 3, to adjust the midtones so that they're less red, drag the top slider to the left to 15. The top slider to the left to 15, which is negative 15, negative 15. And the middle slider to the right to positive 8. Click OK to apply the changes to the color balance adjust layer. In the layer palette, click the eye icon next to the color balance layer to hide and show the layer. Hide and show the layer. So if you look at your image while you're turning on and off the eye, you notice how the color changes. Okay, that's what we just did. So make sure the eye is on. Save File Save. Click the background layer. Make sure you are on the background layer. Now we're going to replace we're going to be replacing colors in an image. Number 1 on page 169 in the Layers palette, select the background layer. Number 2 on page 170, select the Zoom tool. Here is your Zoom tool. Select the Zoom tool and click once on the tarp to zoom in on it. So here's your tarp. Click once. Select the rectangular marquee tool. You learned about that in lesson 2. Draw a selection around the tarp. Don't worry about making a perfect selection, but be sure to include all of the tarp. So the rectangular marquee tool is right here. We're going to make a rectangular selection around the tarp. Now step 4, choose Image, Adjust, Rebalance Color. Replace color, my bad. Replace color to open the Replace Color dialog box. By default, the selection area of the Replace Color dialog box displays a black rectangle representing the current selection. You will now use the eyedropper tool to select the area of color that will be masked and replaced with a new color. 3 eyedropper tools are displayed in the Replace Color dialog box. Here's your 3 eyedroppers. The first eyedrop tool selects a single color. The eyedropper plus tool is used to add colors to a selection, and the eyedropper minus tool is used to subtract colors from a selection. So select the eyedropper tool, number 5, on page 171. Select the eyedropper tool in the Replace Color dialog box and click once on the orange tarp to select it. So click this eyedrop tool, then you're going to click once on the tarp to select the tarp. Now you're going to then select the eyedropper. Okay. Number 7, adjust the tolerance level of the mask by moving the fuzziness slider to 61. The fuzziness slider to 61. Another thing you can do is in that box, this box right here, you can type in 61, and that does the same thing. Fuzziness controls the degree to which related colors are included in the mask. Step 8, select the eyedropper minus tool and click in the black area around the selection in the replace color dialog box to remove the white. So select the minus eyedropper and click on the black. Okay? And then you can click on the add to add the white part. You want to try to make sure that there's no shades of black or gray inside your tarp area. Okay? Number 9, in the transformation area of the replace color dialog box, drag the hue slider to positive 160, or again, you can always type in 160. In the saturation slider is negative 120. You can either drag the slider or type it into the box. Your lightness is negative 40. Now say OK. Notice the tarp changes color to a green. Double click on the hand tool. Your hand tool is right here, so double click on that to fit the image on screen. Say select, deselect, file save. Number 1 on page 171, select the sponge tool hidden underneath the dodge tool. Here is your dodge tool. Click and hold. Now we're going to the sponge tool. Number 2 on page 172 in the tool options bar. Here's your tool options bar. Choose saturate for the mode. It says mode, choose saturate. To select the intensity of the saturation effect, enter 90, and that's 90 in the pressure text box. So pressure, we're going to select 90. Number 3, click the arrow to display the brush pop-up palette and select a large feathered brush from the second row of the brushes palette. In the second row, select the large one. Okay? Number 4, drag the sponge back and forth over the gondolas to saturate their color. The more you drag over the area, the more saturated the color becomes. So here's your gondola area right here. The more you drag around this, the more saturated this becomes. Okay? Number 1 on page 172, select the dodge tool hidden underneath the sponge tool. The sponge tool is the one we just not used. So click and hold the sponge tool. Select the dodge tool. In the tool options bar, choose highlight from the range menu. Here's your tool options bar. The range menu, we're going to choose highlights and enter 50 in the exposure text box. Exposure text, we're going to make sure it says 50. Mine already says 50, so I'm okay. So select a medium feathered brush from the second row of the brush pop-up palette. A medium size. We had a large one a while ago, so medium size. Okay. Drag the dodge tool back and forth over the gondola's hole to bring out its highlights. So here's the hole. We want to bring out its highlights. So we're going to drag the dodge tool along it. Again, the more you drag around it, the more it does it. Okay? The more it dodges. Number 1 on page 173, select the zoom tool. Then click the small boat to magnify that part of the image. The small boat is right here. Okay? Now we're going to work with the clone stamp. Your clone stamp is right here. Number 3 on page 174, in the tool options bar, make sure that the alignment option is deselected. Tool options bar, the alignment option is deselected. In the brush pop-up palette, choose a medium-sized brush from the second row. I'm choosing 19. Number 4, center the clone stamp tool over the water between the large gondola and the post to its right. Okay? Hold down the Alt key, select part of the water, let go of the Alt key, and then click and drag over the boat. Unclick and then click and drag again. Okay? Until that boat is totally gone. Now, something to keep in mind, wherever that plus is where it's taking my information from. So if I were to click up here, it puts the water up there. Okay, does that make sense? So that means if I click and I drag up, look what happens. Okay? So I'm going to go back in my history so that way I go back to where it needs to be. So I no longer have my mess up. Okay, notice the boat is gone. Now we are on step 1 on page 174. Choose the Magic Wand tool. In the tool options bar, enter 16 in the tolerance. Number 3, using the Magic Wand tool, click to select parts of the sky. So we need to zoom out real quick. So if you need to zoom out, click the zoom tool, fit on screen. Okay. Now click back on to your Magic Wand tool. Click and then shift click to add to your selection. You need to make sure that you select all of the white part of the sky. Okay. Now that that's selected, go to your cloud image, the one that we opened up earlier. If it is not opened up, go to the Lesson 6 folder, Start folder, My folder, and open up the clouds image. Go to Select on the menu bar, All. On the menu bar, go to Edit, Copy. Now click on the header for your Lesson 6 file. Go to Edit, go to Paste Into. Paste Into. You notice that the clouds are now pasted into the selection that you just made. Okay? Number 8, step 8 on page 175. With the cloud layer still selected, adjust the opacity in the layers palette. Either use the slider bar or type any number from 1 to 100 in the opacity text box. They use 55, so go ahead and put 55. So make sure that your cloud layer is selected in your layers palette. In the opacity, move that to where it says 55. File save. Step 10 on page 176. Choose Layer. Layer on the menu bar. Flatten image. Step 1 on page 176. Choose Filter. Sharpen. Unsharpen. For unsharpening the mask. Unsharpen mask. In the Unsharpen Mask dialog box, make sure that the Preview option is selected so that you can view the effect before you apply it. It is selected as long as you have that check box. Drag the amount slider until the image is as sharp as you want it. They use 60, so make sure you just put 60 in the amount. Drag the radius slider to determine the number of pixels surrounding the edge pixels that affects the sharpening. The higher the resolution, the higher the radius setting should be. Since the image is 72 dpi, use radius 0.5. 0.5. And then say OK. Then say File Save. You are now done with Lesson 6.